cancellations in the banquet hall. Oh, this many people limit. Oh, who you invite? Oh, will there even be room for?
I'm Samantha, this is Amir, and together we are Khela Meets World. We are hitting nearly a year of being engaged.
Yep, and guess what? The year mark is the wedding date.
So we thought it would be really nice to share with you guys, our engagement and wedding planning story, especially because COVID is so relevant right now, and it is something that has existed since the beginning of our journey, actually, like the journey of getting engaged up until this very moment.
Running back to last year, 2020 of March.
At this point, Amir and I were in our very last semester of school. So Amir was just finishing up pharmacy and I was graduating from my master's. And we were pretty much in agreement at the time that shortly after graduation, we would get engaged and, move on to the next level of our lives.
What was actually planned was that we were supposed to, our family, essentially, your parents, my parents, I guess your brother, my brother too. Anyways, we're supposed to meet at graduation. 50 graduation convocation got cancelled. The plans of our parents meeting in June convocation, since they were scrapped because of COVID, our family actually ended up meeting in
my house.
Yeah, your house at your home. No, I was trying to remember the exact date. Well, it was spring. Anyway, spring of last year around this time.
I think it was
end of March.
No, it was in April.
Oh, sorry.
It was in April. I remember you and your brother were wearing the same jacket.
Yeah, we were matching.
It was matching beige Tommy Hilfiger jackets. It was so cute.
Yep, it was actually my dad's jacket, and I wore it, and then I have it ever since because apparently it fits me.
Anyway, it went well, obviously, since we're engaged now. But in all seriousness, I remember waiting that day in anticipation because I didn't actually believe that your family was gonna pull up in front of the house. Part of me was just like, oh my god, is his parents actually gonna come? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, how was the car ride for you? I was curious.
It was pretty normal. Actually, you know what?
They didn't try and talk?
You know what? I don't remember the last time that all my brother, my dad, me, and my mom were in the same car in the last 10 years. I can't think of.
That's insane, actually.
Yeah, I think that was nice because we all got together. Because I would say probably maybe around the time my brother got married, we all got in the car together, but we never ever, all four of us as a family got together in the same car. So that was interesting, actually. I just thought of that right now on the fly. One thing that was funny during the leaving the house is that my mom would keep asking my sister about is this okay, or what should I do in this, and when my mom found out that she wasn't coming, she basically didn't have a person to consult with. I guess she doesn't trust my dad in consulting, and my brother doesn't, so I guess you need girl to girl. Makes sense, and my sister knows a lot, so she is the go-to expert, whether it's clothing or whether it's things that are normal and not normal. We're pretty bad.
When I saw you guys pull up in the driveway, and then I told my parents, oh my god, they're here. I remember my mom was freaking out. My mom was freaking out quite a bit. I mean, she probably didn't believe that you would actually come. I mean, even though we already had it in arrangement, when it actually happens, it's actually
OMG joy.
I mean, imagine 3 years of us dating and believing our relationship was doomsday, and then next thing you know, your parents are in front of the house. Anyway, so we all greeted each other, and I remember your mom gave me this really nice plant and some chocolates too, as a gift to the family, and I thought that was really nice. I remember when she was giving me the gift, I was in a bit of shock. Because, as I mentioned in top 5, it was I didn't really have too close of a relationship with Amir's parents. We were very courteous to one another, but we never went to that next stage in our relationship. And so, when you go from waving to one another when I just come over to the house to his mom actually hugging me and offering me these gifts and chocolates, it was just mind-blowing.
Just as a comparison, I actually still remember to date when my brother was getting married back 10 years ago. They're about to hit their 10-year anniversary. So I remember I lived in Montreal at the time, and we road tripped over, and the meeting happened, and it was all like Punjabi speaking uncles, aunties. Anyways, I could feel the tension and the awkwardness in the air, and I still remember it to today. It was so fun. It was like, it's so awkward that I wanted to laugh. This time during the meeting, I didn't feel that way at all. I guess it's because it's not like, yeah. Oh,
you didn't feel awkward?
No.
Oh.
I mean, there was like periods of silences. What should you talk about? It wasn't that like awkward atmosphere that like I could feel it in the, it's like literally the awkwardness is in the air and you feel it in the atmosphere. Anyways, but I didn't feel that way at all this time around when our parents actually met.
You know what's funny though? I wasn't really there for the meeting because, so essentially I knew that when the parents meet, a customary tradition with Punjabi culture is to make Indian chai for your in-laws, so which I'm gonna expand on later in this video. What were they talking about on the couch that day? You have to expand on that a little bit.
Oh, I guess you weren't there. I'm gonna try to remember what comes quick. I mean, small talk, engineer. Oh, I guess engineers meet.
Yeah, so my dad's an engineer and Amir's brother is an engineer. So I guess like they kind of connected on that level. Meanwhile, while like all this small talk and conversation is going on in my living room, I was like scrambling in the kitchen to make this chai for my future in-laws. And it honestly, it felt like a moment on like Iron Chef when you're watching the time go by and you need to like prepare the perfect dish. So this was me in the kitchen. I was so scared of messing it up, and I remember, you know, your sister-in-law gave you all the ingredients for the tea and like everything was ready. I was trained for this moment, but then I forgot the key ingredient, which was the tea. I forgot the tea. I remember getting into a panic because so I poured the milk into the pot. But for some reason I wasn't turning brown like the color of tea, and it was just this plain white boiling in the pot, and I was freaking out. So, you know, I didn't even know whether to do the walk of shame back to the living room and like ask for Amir's help. I don't know. Like I think I ended up.
You did do that. You came over and like something doesn't look right, and the tea chai doesn't look looking like chai right now. So yeah, we went over. I looked at it. And I have absolutely no idea. Next thing you know, we're FaceTiming my sister from the kitchen, and I don't even know what's happening in the living room anymore. And but no, my sister took over, and you guys FaceTime.
Yeah. So shout out to Amir's sister for like really helping me in that moment, because you know eventually we found some tea bags in the kitchen, and the tea turned out a success. So at least that's what your brother and your parents said. So I remember as well when we were preparing the tea, we also like to pair it with the tea. We bought like these Indian sweets from like a nearby store, but we didn't take into account the fact that Amir's parents are diabetic. So they didn't end up eating too much of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think my mom loves sweets, but she always tries to justify if I eat it too, it's okay for her.
Oh yeah, another thing. Your mom gave me $100. Do you remember that? That was so like random, and I was already adding to the surprise and the interaction just because I did not expect to get money. And I think your brother was explaining it. Your brother was explaining the reason why, like as she was giving it to me. Basically, it's like a sign of acceptance. Like if the parents give like money to the bride.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah. So my mom didn't know what to do with so she called my sister. Sister explains what, you know, normal things to do. Then mom, maybe she did. She just didn't know for sure. But anyways, then you know did it. Then I didn't know what was the reason behind it. I don't really know the traditions. And so then she told my brother, and then my brother told you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I remember that.
So bottom line, the meeting went really well. I think my parents got a kick of your parents like hugging me. Like as we were like saying goodbye to them, they gave me a hug, and my parents were like, ooh, like woo. They were pretty surprised that happened.
I mean, it's pretty normal. I mean, I guess maybe because of COVID, no, but even then, it's family now. So families, it's okay to hug. So after all that, how did you feel after the meeting?
I mean, honestly, when people say that, you know, weight's been lifted off their shoulders, that in that moment, I knew exactly what they meant. Like it was, like it was like a huge relief, honestly. Like we're talking 3 years of constantly hearing about all these things with stereotypes with Punjabi culture and
You throw any examples?
no. We talked about that in our top 5 problems, as we mentioned before.
Which you can watch right over here.
But yeah, part of me not really knowing during that time, and then also like taking, I guess, kind of taking a risk with our relationship, even though like I knew like we were set.
Biscuit for the biscuit.
Bottom line, huge relief after the meeting was done.
So basically, after the meeting, it was pretty much set in stone. I know okay, I don't want to refer to traditions, Indian traditions or Punjabi traditions, because I'll definitely screw things up. But there is something called a roka. Roka? Roka?
Yeah.
Is it?
Roka.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is it?
It's basically like the pre-engagement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically.
That was pretty much our roka.
Yeah. So I mean, if there's a pre-engagement, then that means there's an engagement.
Yeah.
And then there's a post-engagement, which is the marriage.
Yes.
So because we kind of initiated already, so it was pretty much set in stone.
So shortly after the meeting, we pretty much jumped right into it. We were already planning and picking out my engagement ring so that we can get engaged, basically.
Everything was closed, so Blue Nile was, well, it came clutch.
We basically knew that because of COVID, like the jewelry stores were closed. So we decided to see like what kind of online retailers are there for jewelry. And we picked Blue Nile. And we basically chose the setting, the diamond, pretty much everything prepared.
Over the years, I already knew what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much clear because we visited like in person People's, what is that other one? Spence, Burke's, you know, all the shops. Basically, we had the experience. I already knew what was good. It's just weird because it's online. You don't really get to see it. And it's a big purchase, and yeah, so it's like a little bit riskier. I'd say I got pretty lucky with Blue Nile. They were pretty good. So that's basically the preamble of our engagement. Pretty much in the period in between, which was just a month, was waiting on the ring and how I was going to propose.
And how was that for you? Like, what was it like buying a ring online instead of going to the store?
It was a big purchase. Had to, my credit limit didn't allow, so I had to do some wiggly room making.
Oh, did you actually? You had to like make, did you have to do multiple payments or something?
No, not multiple payments. Because
okay.
If you have a credit card, you know you have a credit limit, and if the purchase is bigger than your credit limit, and if you make that purchase, I don't know if it'll get denied or if it'll get a surcharge or something will go wrong.
Okay.
Alrighty, so that little tiny piece of diamond that finally came in the mail, which was not that long for me, I'm happy, and it was just such a big purchase. So it was weird that it's coming in the mail. Anyways, came in the mail. It was all fine and dandy, and then how to do it? I brainstormed before even the ring came, and I figured might as well utilize like my skill set, and also might as well utilize where we met and just squeeze it together. So where we met was in the pharmacy building in my school, and then it was COVID, so it was closed, so it was actually outside the pharmacy building, right outside. Mm-hmm. and my skill set being a backflip, so take 2 and 2 together, and it became a backflip proposal at the pharmacy building. Anyway, so when I got the ring and had an idea of how I was going to propose, all that was left was asking you the big question.
Yeah.
All right. So I plan to ask you on May 22nd of 2020, which is consistent with our month anniversaries, and also consistent with the dates of the 22nd.
Yeah, that's true. We started dating April 22nd, 2017, and now we're engaged May 22nd, 2020. Oh, actually, we even met on October 22nd, 2015. So I guess our relationship
22 is our lucky number. I remember it was our casual excursion day. So it was a casual day that we were going downtown Toronto and going for our usual walk. Usually we hike in the nature, but in the city we just walk around everywhere. Yeah. So a nice little venture that we were on in exploring the city, and then we went up we went up Spadina, then down to the school, the pharmacy building, and then, that was where we reconnected at when we first met back in 2017. So, and that's where the big question happened.
Honestly, to all the girls that act surprised when they get proposed to, including myself. I actually did act surprised, but I had like a suspicion that it was coming because you were being so reminiscent about like the old days and like what we did during our memories of dating, and then it all came in full circle to like the place where we first met. So I had a suspicion that the question was about to be dropped. Let's be real here, girls. Like you always have an idea of when your man is gonna propose to you. And I
have a hunch.
You have a hunch, but all in all, I still thought it was really sweet. I loved it.
Thanks. I was a little bit worried that that when I was doing the motion, the backflip, that the ring would fly out of my pocket. After the big yes that you said.
Well, after the big yes, we actually continued our day. We went to Harborfront and we took some pictures of the ring, and we. Of
course you did.
Pretty much. By that point, I already shared the news with my parents, so like WhatsApped them on my phone, and I was like, I got engaged. So it was just a lot of fun. Like we ended up going back to the house and popping a bottle of champagne right here, and it was just nice to finally be engaged at that point. I think it was definitely one of the happiest moments of my life. And soon enough, the happiest moment is going to be when we walk down the aisle.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to our, first part.
Part one.
It's funny because we talked about COVID struggles during wedding planning, but we haven't even talked about any of the wedding planning.
It's all a process, guys. Like, this is part of the wedding planning. Like, getting engaged, the journey to getting engaged is actually part of the wedding planning. So we were semi-true to our word.
Stay tuned for the next one, where we'll actually talk about the struggles that we faced during COVID, about cancellations in the banquet hall. Oh, this many people limit. Oh, who will you invite? Oh, will there even be room for our family members to come or not? All that good stuff. Stay tuned for the next part 2 of this series, where we'll talk about it. So in the meantime, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon, and we'll talk to you soon.